Do you know what it feels like to be erased? Not forgotten. Not ignored. Erased. Like you were never part of the picture in the first place. That's where my story begins. Not in some grand moment, but in the quiet hum of a hospital parking lot. My car seat dug into my back. The air smelled like bleach and burnt coffee, and I was so tired I could have slept standing. I thought my phone lighting up might mean someone cared enough to check in. It didn't. It was my mother's voice, splintering through static. Lena, we're going to lose the house. I didn't even breathe, because I knew what was coming. The number, the apology, the blame. 350,000. Her words clanged inside my skull. That house, our so-called family home, wasn't a sanctuary. Not for me. But it was still the porch where I carved my initials with a nail, the stairs where I used to wait on Christmas morning, begging to be seen. So I listened. I listened as she told me the inheritance my grandfather left had already been burned. Not on bills. Not on emergencies. On my brother, Caleb. His business. His dream. His latest failure. And then she said the line I knew was coming. You're all we have left. Do you know what it's like to feel rage and love at the same time? To hate yourself for even considering saving people who never once saved you? Because I do. The next morning, I walked into the bank with a manila folder and walked out with debt heavy enough to snap a spine. 1 week later, I handed my parents a stack of cashier's checks. My mother cried like I had resurrected her from the grave. My father called me a hero, like he hadn't forgotten my existence years ago. That night, I stayed under their roof. But walking through that house was like stepping into a shrine, to Caleb. Photos, trophies, framed newspaper clippings. Not one picture of me after age 12. I asked flat about the inheritance. And they said it again. We gave it to Caleb. He just needed a little help. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, realizing the truth. I wasn't the daughter. I was the backup plan. Still, I drained everything, my savings, my credit, my future, and wired the money in 3 separate transfers. Every confirmation email felt like a vein cutting open. And when it was over, they smiled at me, toasted me, called me their angel. But angels don't sit at the table wondering why the steak tastes bitter and why 2 plane tickets to Florida are tucked under the mail. I should have known. I should have left then. But I stayed. Until one morning I drove back to that house, and it was hollow. Curtains gone. Furniture gone. Even the damn lamp I hated was gone. All that remained was an envelope. My name. Block letters. Inside. Thanks for clearing it. We didn't want to live with a loser. Don't call.
No signature. No apology.
Just a knife slipped between the ribs. But here's what they didn't know. When I handed over those cashier's checks, I also handed papers to the county clerk. Not refinancing forms like I'd told my parents. A deed transfer.
Signed.
Notarized. Legal. The house was mine. So when they tried to sell it, they weren't selling their home. They were selling my home. And the deal collapsed before their champagne even fizzed flat. That night, the voicemails rolled in. Caleb shouting. My father demanding. My mother wheezing through crocodile sobs. And for the first time in my life, I didn't answer. I made coffee instead. And I smiled. I boxed their belongings neatly, albums, trophies, old receipts, and dropped them at my uncle's porch. They were all sitting inside, waiting, shadows of the people who once called me theirs.
See.
Caleb stood up, voice small. What are we supposed to do now? I looked him in the eye, and all I said was, figure it out. Like I had to. I drove away, without looking back. That night, in the quiet of my own home, I lit a candle. For once, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt whole. It felt like freedom. Because sometimes family doesn't love you. Sometimes they use you. And sometimes, if you're strong enough, you take back everything they tried to steal. So, tell me, what would you have done?